Hi guys, Maikeru here. This is my video on the new update, which is deep sea fishing. This deep sea fishing is really awesome. It's got some really nice AFK methods of fishing and new fastest fishing experience in the game that goes over 400k experience an hour. I'll be going into the rates of all the different fishing methods, and I'll be going into the rates of the cooking XP for each of the fish that you can get at deep sea fishing as well. I will leave timestamps in the description to each particular fish and the cooking portion, so if you want to skip to a specific part of this video, click the timestamps in the description. So let's get into this video. First up, as always, there is some requirements. If you check the deep sea fishing hub, it tells you every single requirement for all of the different fishes there. You have the magnetic minnow, which is 68 fishing. The swarms of fish do not have a fishing requirement, but the higher level fishing you are, the faster you'll catch the random fish from the swarm. The green blubber jellyfish is 68 fishing, the blue blubber jellyfish is 91 fishing, the fishing frenzy, which is the one that is not AFK at all but the new fastest experience in the game, and that requires 94 fishing. Then you have the new best fish in the game, which is better than rocktail, and that's Sailfish at 97 fishing. To get to deep sea fishing, all you need to do is go to the fishing guild, which is north of RD. You want to run over to this guy with the notice board, you can right click him and travel and you'll go straight there. Once you're there, you'll be on a giant fishing platform with loads and loads of different fishing spots all around for all of the different fish that I just mentioned. When it comes to my setup for fishing, I tried to get the maximum boost for you all so you could see the high end rates of this place. So I wore my Call of the Seas aura, I had my full shark outfit, my crystal rod with honed and furnace, my offhand with wise, my fishing cape, ring of whispers, urns, urn enhancer, perfect juju potion, same world avatar, you name it, I had it. So if you don't have some of these boosts, your XP rates will be slightly less. And obviously if you're not 99, your catch rate will be slightly less as well, so that will also affect XP rates. So the XP rates in this video are the highest end XP rates that you can expect to get. Anyway, now that's cleared up, let's get into this video. I started off looking at the minnows. They're stackable food that heal 100 each, just like purple sweets, and they're also used for bait for the magical fishing spots. They're just to the south of where you come in. I was able to get between 1,100 to 1,250 minnows an hour depending on how many times it procced multiple in the same catch. This also equated to 110 to 130,000 experience an hour with all of my boosts. Definitely pretty decent, plus they're only level 68 requirements, so they're a decent low level fish. Especially if you don't have the shark outfit to consume stuff like in Menethos, these stack already. When it comes to the new fishing frenzy where you fling fish, this is so click intensive and not AFK at all, but it is the new fastest fishing experience in the game by quite a long shot. Like I said in the title of this video, you can get over 400k experience an hour by doing this. I started off on a 0 streak, which means I had no extra bonus experience flinging them into the net at the start. Every 10 fish you fling, you get a 1% frenzy bonus up to 200 fish to give you 20% experience bonus, then it stays and caps at 20. So it does reward you for doing it for a longer period of time. It honestly doesn't take very long to get to the 20% experience bonus, to be honest, and I didn't miss out on too much experience in this hour because I probably took about 10 minutes to get to the 20% frenzy bonus. But from my test hour, I managed to get 422,000 experience in fishing. That's absolutely amazing. Even though it's not AFK, for the lean forward people, you can get nearly twice as much fishing experience an hour than what you would get at somewhere like waterfall fishing in Prif. I really like this kind of experience where you can get so much more for being active rather than just sitting there AFK. So when people do want to do active things, even when fishing, you can get some really nice XP now at 94 plus doing Fishing Frenzy. Finishing off my hour, I managed to get over 1,120 streak, and that is my 20% bonus experience being capped since the 200 mark. So for most of the time, I was getting best in slot experience rates with the bonus for the streak. And obviously if I'd done another hour after this, I'd probably get around 450k experience an hour because I would have had the streak from the start. When it comes to catching jellyfish, there's two types of spawns. There's an electrified jellyfish spawn and a normal one. If you fish the electrified jellyfish spawn, you get more jellyfish out of it, but you get a debuff that stacks up. If this debuff stacks up to 10 times, you'll get stunned and you'll get a debuff, so you'll never be able to do any more electric jellyfish catching for 2 minutes. The way you counter this is that you don't fish the electrified jellyfishes all the time. You want to fish them until you get 8 or 9 stacks, and then when you fish a normal jellyfish, it will take your stacks back down every one you catch. Once your stacks have reset from fishing normal jellyfish, go back on the electrified ones and you'll start getting more jellyfish again. If you do want to AFK however, and you don't care about how many jellyfish you do get, you don't get extra experience for catching them from the electrified one, you just get more jellyfish as compared to fishing just the normal ones rather than the electrified too. Testing this out though, I got around 650 green jellyfish in an hour, and that was 110 to 125k experience an hour. When it comes to the blue jellies, I got about 450 blue jellyfish in an hour, and it was about 145 to 160k experience an hour. Remember, this is with all of my boosts and 99 fishing. If you're a lower level, you may have to expect like 80k an hour for the greens and things like that. I just want to quickly comment on how good the jellyfish are. When you eat a jellyfish, it uses up one of the bites and it has 3 bites. It's very much like a Saradomin brew where you can eat a food and then eat a jellyfish and it doesn't share the same cooldown. But what makes this even better is you can eat a food, brew and jellyfish all in the same tick. Being able to do all 3 of these at the same time means you can heal over 4000 HP very easily in one tick. The jellyfish are a very good addition to PVM, and I'll probably take half jellyfish, half Saradomin brews in the future whenever I'm doing bossing. It just seems like it would be better than just doing brews because they don't lower your stats, and that's very useful. Moving on to the XP rates of the Sailfish, I use Signs of the Porter to bank them. Signs of the Porter are quite important here. They weren't too important at the jellyfish because there's a bank right next to them. I did use them for the jellyfish as well because you do run a little bit further away at times. But it's way more important using porters at Sailfish because the bank is quite far away and it's going to hinder your XP rates quite considerably. Obviously, I used all of the same boosts while fishing these, and I managed to get around 300 to 400 Sailfish an hour depending on procs and such, and I got around 150 to 200k experience an hour. I was getting more of the high end most of the time, but here and there I was getting low end XP rates, so it seems a bit inconsistent. That's why there's such a huge difference between the XP rates, because sometimes you just seem to get really low amounts, other times really high. It seemed to average around 180 to 200k experience an hour for me though, and that's very close to waterfall fishing. Being able to get nearly 200k experience an hour consistently alongside 300 to 400 of the best fish in the game every single hour, that seems pretty overpowered to me, and the Sailfish are the best part of this update alongside the jellyfish in my opinion. One last thing I want to comment on, don't fish the normal Sailfish spots as you don't seem to catch them as quickly. If you fish from the Swift Sailfish spot, it seems to give you the most per hour and the most experience. When it comes to the magical fishing spots, you can use your Minnows to make fishing bait for sea turtles, Manta Rays or great white shark, and then you can use this fishing bait on any of the magical fishing spots and it will turn it into a fishing spot of that kind. Once you use the bait on the fishing spot, which costs 300 minnows to make, it will last 50 catches of any of the ones that you choose. So for example, I chose Manta Rays first. I will catch 50 Manta Rays from here and then it will stop and won't let me catch any more unless I use 300 more minnows in order to make more Manta Ray bait. The cool thing here is if something like your fishing cape procs an additional fish, that doesn't count towards the 50, so you'll normally end up with more than 50 fish in your bank after finishing this fishing spot. When it comes to how many you can fish in an hour, it's about 550 Manta Rays an hour and it's around 90 to 120k experience an hour. Not bad at all really, it just is going to use up a lot of minnows in order to use the bait. When it's depleted, it will just come up with a message in your chat box saying it's depleted and you'll need to use more bait on it to start it up again. The exact same thing applies to the sea turtles. You need to use your minnows in order to make sea turtle bait to make the spots into sea turtles. You can get around 450 sea turtles an hour and it's 90 to 110k experience an hour. Lastly, great white sharks, you can catch the most in an hour and they give you the most experience. You get around 700 great white sharks an hour and it's 120 to 140k experience an hour. Just do remember though, because it requires 300 minnows for only 50 catches, this is going to be a lot of minnows used every single hour in order to catch these sharks. Lastly, in regards to XP rates, there's a swarm fishing spot to the south of the island. This doesn't require any fishing level at all, but the higher level you do get, the faster you catch the fish. This is really cool and unique because you can fish things like Sailfish without having the requirement of the fishing level to actually get them. So say you're 80 fishing, you'll catch things like Sailfish in this swarm even though you don't have the level for it. The only problem is the swarm is pretty bad experience. From 1 hour of testing swarm fishing, I got 12 rocktails, 12 cavefish, 42 blue jellyfish, 196 sailfish and 96,000 experience. This seems okay for fish, but the experience rates just let it down so much. I'd rather just go fish sailfish if you have the level for it. And if you don't have the level for sailfish, you're better off just fishing minnows or something. Much easier and less hassle. Every so often, the fishing platform will go dark and a random event will happen. This time around, the random event was a boat spawned in the middle. It's either things are spawning on the middle or on the platforms you're standing on. The boat in the middle sells things every single day and it changes every day. There's an Uncharted Isle map that it sells that has between 4 to 6 resources on an Uncharted Isle. This is really awesome because normally Uncharted Isles could only go up to 5, so hopefully you can get a really good island with 6 resources. It also sold a small Goby burial charm, which is good if you don't have max rep with Mazcab. It sold a barrel bait, which is just a boost while doing deep sea fishing, and a crystal Triskelion key, which was 2 million coins. 2 million coins for a crystal Triskelion key is kind of expensive, but I bought it anyway because it gives me a guaranteed elite loot. I went back the next day and the random event happened again, and because the shop changes every single day, I managed to buy another Uncharted Isle map and then the other things I just wasn't interested in. There was a D&D token daily, which is useful if you're doing caches and trying to do 4 a day or something. Some Shattered Wild Anima that's way too overpriced, and a Dungeoneering wildcard, which again is too overpriced in my opinion. The shop seems really neat and some of the stuff in there is definitely worth it. Another random event is where jellyfish spawn all over the docks. You just spam click them to beat them up and knock them off the edge. Once you've done that and once they're all cleared and knocked off, you'll get a buff at the end. This time round it gave me 5% more fishing experience for 30 minutes, which is really awesome for the couple of minutes that it takes to clear the jellyfish. There's other random events that spawn in the middle, like this one where you have to help out the whale. You just click him, AFK fish some minnow off of him, and then once enough people have fished on him and helped him, he'll give you a buff as well. He just spat out some dude. That's well cool. We just like saved some dude from the whale. What do we get for it? 10% increase to your fish and catch rate for 30 minutes. That's a decent buff. The last random event I have encountered is the sea monster. If you run over to the barrels, you can take food from the barrels by right clicking and quickly taking it, and then you can just chuck it at the sea monster to heal him. You and everyone else there can keep repeating this process until he's fully healed, then he'll swim away and you'll get another buff. Ooh, I got an achievement and I got 10% chance to gain an additional fish for 30 minutes. Those random events are really worth doing. Now I'm just going to quickly talk about the XP rates of cooking the fish that are available at deep sea fishing. Here is my cooking setup. I use urns, I use an urn enhancer and then fill up the rest of my inventory with fish. I have the full sous chef's outfit on. I use the cooking cape so I don't burn any of the food at all. I use the Dwarven Army Axe for +3 experience every single cook. And then I have an offhand with Wise on it, and that's all I use for my cooking setup. And obviously do remember to use a portable range because not only does it give you the procs, it also gives you so much more experience. Now the setup's out of the way, I'm going to get into the rates of the new fish. So when it comes to my AFK Cooking XP rates, remember again, the XP rates do include urns and other boosts that I showed in the previous slide. Starting off with Sailfish, which requires 99 cooking to cook, you get 575 to 625,000 experience an hour, which is better than Rocktails. Blue Jellyfish that requires 95 gives you 500 to 550k experience an hour, which is also better than Rocktails. Manta Ray, which requires 91 cooking, gives you 425 to 460k experience an hour, which is slightly worse than Rocktails. Great White Shark, which requires 84 cooking, gives you 420 to 455,000 experience an hour. Sea Turtles at 82 cooking give you 415 to 450k experience an hour. Green Jellyfish that requires 72 cooking give you 350 to 385,000 experience an hour. Obviously, these XP rates are AFK Cooking. You can cook around 1,300 fish in an hour. Obviously, if you AFK too hard, you won't quite hit these rates. Now I'm going to go on to talking about free tick cooking. When it comes to my free tick cooking experience rates, some of these XP rates are downright absolutely insane. I will link a guide in the description to free tick cooking if you don't know what it is. But my god, are Sailfish overpowered if you're free tick cooking them. If you're free tick cooking, you can cook around 2,000 fish an hour, but it's not AFK. Sailfish are 850 to 925,000 experience an hour. Blue Jellyfish are 800 to 850k experience an hour. Manta Rays are 700 to 725k experience an hour. Great White Shark are 660 to 720k experience an hour. Sea Turtles are 650 to 710k experience an hour. And lastly, the Green Jellyfish are 570 to 600k experience an hour. In my personal opinion, unless you're super AFK having to do something, definitely free tick cook, because the XP rates are so good when you do free tick cook. Anyway, that's it for this video. Hopefully the new rates and stuff do give you an insight to this update. Do give it a like if you did enjoy, subscribe if you're new for loads of future content all related to RuneScape 3, and until next time, see ya.